An increase in fire deaths has officials urging Minnesotans to take fire prevention seriously. We'll tell you the easy and effective ways you can protect your home and family.
The White Bear Lake Police Department is providing service to Gem Lake, and a council member says she's pleased about the new partnership. We'll hear from her in this half hour. Plus, we'll have a hands-on experience with a local company giving back to the community.
I'm Greg Peterson.
And I'm Tracy Menarchuk. Welcome to Lake Area Beat. And welcome to Create Space in White Bear Lake. We're going to be getting some hands-on crafting instruction from owner Katie Cooley coming up a little later.
But first, 63 people died in fires this last year. That's a nearly 50% increase from 2016. Sadly, many of these fire deaths are preventable. Here's some easy ways to prevent tragedy from impacting your family.
Thankfully in White Bear Lake, we've been very, very lucky. I mean, knock on wood, we've decades since we've had a fire fatality in our fire district. I think you can always go back to the traditional highest causes of fire deaths, and that's generally smoking and cooking and ignitable materials too close to an ignition source. Make sure that if you are smoking, that you're not doing it when you're tired. I think that it doesn't particularly say in the fire reporting, but some of those deaths related to smoking could be from someone falling asleep with a lit cigarette. So of course, if you're going to smoke when you're going to be awake enough to take care of it. We've gone to fires in White Bear Lake for someone who they piled too much laundry in their laundry room next to a water heater. Your water heater has a pilot light in it, you know, so that lit the clothes on fire. If they had maintained a 3-foot spacing around that, it would have been just fine. They say that a working smoke alarm in your house will reduce your chance of death in a fire by 50%. So very, very significant. Again, you should be installing smoke alarms in every bedroom, outside of every bedroom, and on every floor. You need to check them monthly, replace your batteries at least annually, and then pay attention to the manufacturer's date of expiration. You should have a fire or escape plan, and they even go so far as to say you should practice that at least twice a year, once during the day, once during the night, and even with you just have house guests, that you should make sure that you've gone through and explained the escape plan with them. In addition to the fire or escape plan, is addressing that once you're out of the house, you don't ever go back into the house. Whether it's the teddy bear that you're going to miss, or even a pet, once you're outside of the house, you stay outside. The fire department will come and they'll be able to go back in. We've got the equipment to do that. You just assume that you're never going to have a fire. And when you do, it's very, very devastating. No one really assumes how much they're going to lose in a fire.
Some good advice from Assistant District Chief Brian Kunst. Gem Lake Council member Gretchen Artig Swamley took the White Bear Lake Citizen Fire Academy, Police Academy, and the CERT program. After getting to know officers on a more personal level, she says she's happy White Bear Lake Police have taken over patrol of her city.
We sat down with her recently to discuss the council's decision and to learn a little more about her next door neighbor.
We're kind of an urban oasis. I think if you look on Google Maps, you're looking at the city and you're thinking, oh, what's that little green spot in the middle, And you're thinking, what is that? That's Gem Lake.
The city of Gem Lake, once a village, was incorporated in 1959 and has an abundance of wildlife and natural beauty. With just over 400 residents, council member Gretchen Artig-Swamley says the city has a small town feel.
I mean, when somebody has twins here, it's a big deal. Like, ooh, population just shot up.
One of the few public spaces is Heritage Hall.
So we all collaborate and have a good working relationship.
It's where the council meets and voted last year to discontinue police service from Ramsey County. Turning to the White Bear Lake Police Department, a decision Artig-Swamley says was financial.
We were really looking at costs, and as a small city, we have a very tiny budget. You'd laugh at how small our budget is, but our police protection made up a huge percentage of our budget, and the costs were going up in Ramsey County. And so we began looking at White Bear.
She says, though the council has no criticisms of Ramsey County, she's impressed by both the White Bear Lake Police and Fire departments. After taking their Citizen Fire Academy, she participated in the Police Academy, finding relevance in the discussions happening at council meetings.
And then when I went to the Police Academy, we learned a lot more about just sort of the inner workings of a police department and what they are concerned with. When they do traffic stops, we learned about firearms. We learned a heck of a lot of information that I really didn't even know, so I found it fascinating.
Artig-Swamley says she got to know the White Bear Lake police officers on a personal level and gain respect for them for doing a difficult job well.
I think you learn that these are human beings patrolling your community who have kids. And, it was pretty powerful that they just want to get home to their kids every night.
We're going to take a short break, but first,
Don't let the identity thieves get the better of you this tax season. Sergeant John Vetty has some money-saving advice.
Taxes and criminals are two things we can count on, and during tax season, thieves are looking to profit from stealing your identity. I'm Sergeant John Vetty, urging you to be aware of the latest scams. First, I'd like to say the IRS won't call you. If you don't believe me, just try calling them. If anyone calls claiming to be from the IRS, it's a scam. Why? Because again, the IRS will not call you for anything ever. They also won't contact you via email or social media. They send letters. They also don't threaten arrest or demand payments using Green Dot Money Pack cards. If you get one of these demands, it's a scam. Since most of these criminals are in another country, they're difficult to trace. Your best defense is to be vigilant on the front end. It's also a good idea to have your refund directly deposited rather than mailed. Don't be among the millions of Americans victimized by identity thieves. Together we can make it harder on criminals to steal your hard-earned cash.
welcome back. As we mentioned at the top of the show, we're at Create Space in White Bear Lake. It's a company that gives back to the community, and owner Katie Cooley is going to lead us in a do-it-yourself project. Katie, thanks for having us.
Thank you for being here.
And tell us a little bit about Create Space.
So our studio is a do-it-yourself DIY studio where anyone can come and make their own craft projects.
All right, and we're going to talk more about that. But first,
Katie, what are you gonna? I see some stuff on the table here. What are you gonna lead us in today?
Yeah, so we're going to do our smaller project. It's a $5 mini project, and here are some pieces of wood that you'll start with. So you can see it's just raw.
from scratch, I see.
Scratch, yep, from scratch wood. So the first step you're going to do is take some sandpaper and sand your project, and it does not have to be a whole lot, just a little bit, and it helps the stain go on.
All right.
All right.
Rounding out the corners. Once you get that done, we'll take some stain. You'll want to put on your gloves for the next part. That looks pretty good.
All right.
pretty good quality wood too. So.
Yes, looks nice. Well, gloves on. We
Gloves
do this,
on.
don't we? Gloves
Yes,
at work.
all the
We're
time.
used to the gloves.
I'd rather do it for this reason.
Yes. All
So
right.
then you have your cloth, your cloth that you're going to dip in your stain, and then you're going to rub it over front, back, all of the sides of the project.
All right.
For time's sake, if you just want to do one, that's fine. We have multiple colors of stain, so you'll see we have the dark walnut, we have a few different colors, we have aqua, gray, a lot of different of customizations that you can make on your project.
Is that the aqua behind me there?
That is part of the, that's aqua and white. So I put a white
okay.
under it, and then I did a little aqua wash on top.
I spied that one when we came in.
Yes, that's
I
going to
like
be a
that
popular one. It's a new one that we are just coming up with next. It's going to be for next month. I always am adding new designs, so we have over 100 designs on the website now that you can choose from, and then I'm continually adding and designing new.
one. So how does it work? If I'm interested in coming here, how do we start?
So our registration is online. You can visit our website, and then it takes all of your information. The calendar's online, and we have about 2 to 3 classes a week for the public, and then anytime if you have a group of 8 or more, we do private parties, and that can be kids parties, that can be bachelorette parties, birthday parties. And that would, you would just contact me via our website or my email for those.
And how far in advance are you booked
People
up?
have done it a week in advance, up to 3 months in advance, so we're very flexible.
Okay. So if we're looking for something to do, we think the weather is kind of bad this weekend.
Then you can definitely sign up for one of our public classes if you have a smaller group, and that can be within a couple days.
And the minimum is 8
For a
a
private
group.
party, the minimum
Okay.
is 8, yes.
All right.
And for kids, we do a $20 project for a group of 10.
Okay.
So how has business been for you?
It's been very good. We've ramping up to Christmas. It was very, very busy. Lots of holiday parties and family gatherings, and then it has just gone from there. So we're very happy.
And I heard you do like bachelorette parties, and we talked about maybe couple parties and.
Yes, we do some date nights. You can bring in your honey and do some projects for a date night out. When we do, lots of.
And the guys shouldn't be afraid.
No.
It's not just painting and glitter
No.
and that sort of thing. There's
They have
there's
power
tools.
tools.
You
There's
get to use
Yeah.
power tools. You
and
get to drill the pieces together on the
you're
projects.
actually putting them all together. Some places have projects where they're mostly already done, but
Yep.
you're from
This is full do-it-yourself.
scratch.
Yes. So these we don't get to do these are more our quick projects. Just come in, do a little painting. But the big projects take about 2.5 hours, and you get to do all of the sanding, staining, drilling, all of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds like fun. And
Yeah.
now
Should
some
we-
of the parties that you've had, they can bring in food?
You can bring
Is
in
that
food.
right?
You can bring in wine, liquor. We have our consumption and display. So you get to BYOB anything, food. We can cater in as well. We've worked with Donatelli's to cater in.
Okay. And you've worked with the White Bear Lake Police Department before.
We
for a
have.
painting event.
We
And
have.
how was that received?
That was amazing. We had so many people. It was a great community event. We did free small projects. So this part you're just going
Oh,
to
I gotta-
hammer in
gotta
on
whack
both
that.
sides.
All
This
right.
is our.
Does it matter if
the
it's
hook.
lined up?
It does not have to be perfect. It is a self-adjusting hook. So.
Oops.
Yeah. So, and I think it was a great event, the Painting with Police. We did it in October, so we did pumpkins. It was a great event for the community and also to get our name out there. Since we were pretty new, we opened October 1st.
Oh,
so.
nice.
So you give a percentage back to charity, is that correct?
We do. We give 10% of all our revenue back to, there are 4 different organizations that we support, and they're all local community organizations.
And giving back to charity is important to you.
It is.
Tell us why.
Well, I come from a teaching background, and my heart is always in service. And so we tried to figure out a way that we could give back with the business that we opened. And so doing those community events is important, but also financially giving to the organizations that are near and dear to my husband and I's heart.
Okay, so you have like 4 that you support, but
We do.
then You also can do fundraising parties for something that other people support. Is
We
that right?
do. We are open to doing fundraising for any organization that's interested, and we would advertise with that organization to get the word out, and then we would give back $10 from every project to that organization.
That's wonderful.
Right.
Now, what are we doing next
Okay,
here?
so now you got your hooks and you can flip it over, and we're going to do the stencils. So
right.
we have stencils of the bear for you. You're going to peel out the part that you're going to paint, so it's going to look like this. So it's kind of like a sticker. You just peel out the bear. This is our most simple design, which is good for this.
Excellent.
We have some more difficult ones that take a little bit more patience, but we wanted to do the easy one. So then usually we have a process to get this on there, but this is an easy one, so you can just peel it off from the backing, and then you're going to,
Maybe.
I can help you too,
Just peel it off.
and then it just sticks right onto your board.
Now, do you
And it'll
suggest
look like
people
this.
not wear white when they do this?
You know what? White, we have aprons.
For everybody?
White is, yes, for
Excellent.
everyone. White is tricky. Black also shows sawdust, so if you're going out afterwards, you don't want to wear white or black. Yes.
Or something with a pattern.
Exactly, exactly. So short sleeves are also good. There you go.
Oh, yeah, mine's already messy.
That is okay. I will get the paint ready for you. So we try to reuse as much as possible, so we just put our paint right on
Oh,
the
nice.
backing.
Oh.
And then here's your paint brushes. That looks fabulous. And you're just gonna dab. So you wanna dab on top of your bear, and you can use the whole flat part of your brush. There you go. And don't be
Smash.
afraid to really
Alright.
get it in there. There you go. We say light coats are better. We don't want a whole lot of paint on there, but you do want to cover the whole.
It's going to take me
Part
all
of your
day, so I
stencil.
better go a little faster,
There you
huh?
go. If you use the whole flat side of your brush, it'll really get it. There you go.
I think Greg's better at it than I am.
He's getting there.
I've done a little painting before.
Oh. Anything on display?
No, not that good.
That's
My
the nice
daughter
part
is.
about these is that you're going to be proud of what you go home with. So no matter what, we use the stencil. You don't have to be a great artist to do one of our classes.
So the stencils, are they here? Do people pick them out, or do you do special orders, or how does that work?
We pick it out during the registration process. You can pick yours out, and we have over 100 designs, like I said. And then if you do want a custom design, we do custom orders as well. I would need to know in ahead so that I could design and work with you to make sure that it's what you want when you come in. But I do cut the stencils out ahead of time, so I do need to know ahead of time what you need.
I think we need a commercial break so I can finish mine.
I think so. Yeah.
And with that, we should probably thank you very much for letting us come out here and do our project.
Thank you.
you.
We'll reveal our masterpieces later in the show. For more information on Create Space or to make a reservation, visit their website. The United States has been hit by some massive hurricanes, and such big disasters can put a strain on local agencies who often look for outside help.
A White Bear Lake EMT dedicated to serving the community has gone beyond the city's borders to help those in need. And he shares his story with us. Take a look.
God forbid if anything major does happen in White Bear, it's nice to have folks with that perspective and that experience that can help mitigate some of those issues.
After nearly 20 years with the White Bear Lake Fire Department, Matt Bouthelette is committed to his city more than ever.
White Bear is still my home. I've lived in it since I was literally 1 year old. My parents still live in my childhood home about a mile from here. And this town is who I am.
And part of Matt's mission is to give back not just to the community of White Bear Lake, but beyond. He's part of the Minnesota One medical assistance team, which requires him to be on call 4 months out of the year.
Ever since Katrina, there was always a little bit of a critique that the response wasn't fast enough, so they really tried to pre-deploy us and get us on the ground, so if something bad happens, we're ready to go.
More recently, his team provided medical assistance to victims of Hurricane Harvey in Houston and Maria in Puerto Rico. He says these experiences help him keep his own challenges in check.
Maybe I shouldn't be so bitter. Maybe I should be better instead. I got it pretty good.
As a paramedic, he's learned to keep his distance from patients. Like other first responders, it helps protect them from internalizing too much. But during his time in Houston, He met a woman who spent 3 days on her roof as floodwaters rose, and she worried about alligators.
This was one that I let kind of come into my personal circle and got to know her a little bit better, and I'm glad I did.
Matt says he's thankful for his time with the team as well as the people in his life who allow him the freedom to serve, including family, friends, and employers. And though he gives up personal comfort during each deployment, he gets a life-changing experience in return.
I got something really positive out of it. It's hard to call it a disaster if you take something positive away from it. But just what that event was so much more than just going down there and being a paramedic or just what you see on the news. There's a real personal side to it.
We're going to take a short break, but coming up,
We'll hear the heartwarming story of a woman living with a disease that affects more than 2 million people worldwide.
Introducing a new day of the week, someday. Now, everything you were going to do someday is on the calendar. Want to retire someday? You'll really want this. A My Social Security account at socialsecurity.gov. You can estimate your future benefits and manage current benefits online. Millions of people have a My Social Security account. Get yours today, because someday is here at socialsecurity.gov.
welcome back. More than 2 million people are living with multiple sclerosis, and every year, millions of people walk and ride to bring awareness to this disease.
A White Bear Lake police officer introduced us last year to her mother who suffers from MS. March is MS Awareness Month, and we bring you her story to highlight the struggles MS sufferers face.
You took care of me when I was crying and I had colic, and I guess, we take care of each other. I take care of her now.
I would sit and I would watch people walk, and I would think, it's so simple. I knew how to do that. I know how to do that, but my legs just won't move. It's very difficult to have to be able to walk and see and touch and then to lose it all. It's hard to deal with that. Like if you took a razor and you scraped your skin, it's that kind of a burn, but it's magnified. Sometimes it's so intense that I hold my breath.
The hardest thing besides my mom being in pain, which is horrible, and there's nothing really anybody can ever seem to do about it, is her not being able to rock my children to sleep and to play with them and run with them, and that's been hard.
Did Daddy bring you?
Yeah. And the things that really keep me going are my grandchildren.
Yes.
When I think of them, look at a picture of them, that's what makes me happy. He's a very good cook. I'm really lucky. He's been there for me for everything, and he's really good at both, being a husband and a caretaker. And I think that we have probably a deeper relationship.
For many years, my mom had falls, and I've learned to pick her up and put her upright and make her feel better. And I can go into situations now and make people okay with not feel as. Just cherish those moments, because you don't I mean, you just don't know when it's going to get worse, and you don't know what's going to happen. And
I appreciate things more, and I think I'm just kinder to other people. And so that's a plus.
I'm grateful for Ron and what he's organized and what he does, and you know, getting people out there and spreading the word, and he does.
When I first found out that it was dedicated to me, I was really touched by that, to think that there are people out there that are thinking of us and are, you know, putting forth an effort to try and raise money to find a cure for this.
This is my underwear. How are you today? Did you have a good day at school? Good. Can you say hi? Say my name is Jonathan.
I'm Brian.
I love you.
All right, it's time for the big reveal.
Oh, that looks
okay.
good. That looks nice.
There we go.
That looks good.
How'd we do, Katie?
It's beautiful.
All right.
That looks very
Thank you for
good.
helping us.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks. I'm actually, all that dabbing helped.
All right, that's all the time we have for this edition of Lake Area Beat. I'm Greg Peterson.
And I'm Tracy Minarchuk. Thanks for watching.